by Governor Ronald Reagan of California.
George Herbert Walker Bush, 41st President of the United States.
Governor Clinton is now President Bill Clinton, too close to call.
Here it is, George W. Bush re-elected.
Barack Obama, President-elect of the United States.
This is CNN.
The 2012 candidates are getting their shot at making history.
The last votes in the first primary of the year are being cast right now.
Tonight, round 2 for Republicans in the fight to be president.
Game on.
Survivors of the closest Iowa caucus in history face off in the frontrunner's backyard.
Can we do better here in New Hampshire?
Who comes in second, maybe as important as who comes in first.
You have a chance to change the world.
It's New Hampshire's choice. Mitt Romney is aiming for another win by hammering the president.
This president is a crony capitalist.
But Romney's opponents want to tear him down.
This would be the weakest front-runner in history.
Don't settle for someone who can win, but then can't do.
It's a brutal battle to beat Mitt Romney. Ron Paul came close in Iowa.
Freedom is popular.
Rick Santorum came even closer.
All the campaigns say they need your help. I need your help.
Will they go the distance? Or will these 3 candidates catch up by going on the attack?
There are people out of work down there because of what Mitt Romney and Bain Capital did.
Who will be left standing after New Hampshire when the road to the White House veers south?
Say, enough, Mr. President. You are not the emperor.
Folks, we are going to take America back.
I'm prepared to take Obama on.
We're not being led.
People are coming together. This election is about the soul of America, folks.
It's another decision day in America, and the people have the power.
I'm Wolf Blitzer at the CNN Election Center. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. There's only 1 hour left of voting in New Hampshire, and 6 Republican candidates are anxiously waiting for the results. Mitt Romney is certainly favored to win, but second place is up for grabs, and there's an intense fight underway to be Romney's main challenger. Tonight, our ballot cameras will show you democracy in action. We're going to speak to voters, track the ballots, and watch a small town count its votes by hand. And our campaign cameras will take you behind the scenes with the Romney and Huntsman teams working to get out the votes before the last polls close. We have the most cameras in the most locations. Our correspondents certainly out in force, including Candy Crowley and Soledad O'Brien. They're watching what's going on. Soledad, first to you.
All right, we're at Amherst Street Elementary School, which is where Ward 3 in Nashua, New Hampshire votes. They open the polling here at 6 o'clock in the morning, but they'll stay later than anybody else till 8 p.m. That's partly because of a provision in the city charter. They tell us they expect 35% voter turnout of about 4,800 registered voters. That is consistent with what we're seeing, but we have an hour to go to the polls close. 8 o'clock, Wolf. They will close the doors and then tally results and tell us who's won. Wolf?
We'll count down together with you, Soledad. Candy Crowley is over at Mitt Romney's headquarters. What's going on, Candy?
They certainly are expecting a win here tonight in Romney land, Wolf, but equally as important, who will place and who will show. And going forward from here, is there anyone who can stand in Mitt Romney's way? That's why New Hampshire voters right now are setting the table. Wolf?
Certainly are. Candy, stand by for that. As always, Anderson Cooper will be with us every step of the way. Anderson?
That's right, Wolf. Less than an hour from now, the last open polling places are going to close. We already have results from 2 very small towns that traditionally vote overnight. In Dixville Notch, Mitt Romney and John Huntsman tied with 2 votes each. In Hart's location, Romney won with 5 votes. As new results come in, John King's going to map them out at the Magic Wall, and Aaron Burnett's going to break them down for us at the polling center. First, let's go to John. John?
Anderson, thanks. You mentioned Dixville Notch, Hart's location. They've already filled in the map. Remember, 4 years ago, the map showed the big surprise when Hillary Clinton surged late to beat Barack Obama. Will that happen tonight? Well, here's some key places to look in the state of New Hampshire. If you come down here to the southern part of the state, remember, Mitt Romney's the former Massachusetts governor. A lot of Massachusetts transplants down here. A lot of the undeclared voters, the so-called independents who are allowed to vote in the Republican primary. Romney needs to do well down here in this part of the state. Over here, the most Democratic area of the state, if Ron Paul is going to reproduce some of that Iowa magic, the Dartmouth College campus will be one place he gets vote. And will all the attacks on Romney this week work, Watch Manchester down in here. Gritty blue-collar voters there. If the attacks on Romney as a heartless capitalist are beginning to take a toll, we'll see it right there, Anderson.
John, thanks very much. Aaron Burnett has exit poll information. You got some early exit poll information. What are you seeing?
All right, well, here's what we're seeing so far. Interesting and obviously a stark contrast to Iowa. Everyone views on fiscal issues, taxes, and spending. I saw this in Manchester yesterday talking to folks. You see very conservative here, 67% of voters, very or somewhat conservative on fiscal issues. Stark contrast to Iowa, though, on the other category. We're going to break this down, let you know where these votes are going. But when you look at social issues such as abortion, 60% in New Hampshire, moderate or liberal. So we'll see what that means for someone like a Rick Santorum tonight, Anderson.
Right, and we've been seeing a reaction to Rick Santorum on the campaign trail, very different than what we saw in Iowa in terms of social issues. Our analysts are going to help us put all this in perspective. Gloria Borger, David Gergen are working their sources along with the best political team here in the election center and out in the field, including top strategists for past presidential campaigns. A lot to cover, Wolf.
Anderson, thank you. Let's check in with some of our reporters out at various campaign headquarters right now. Dana Bash is at Ron Paul headquarters. Jim Acosta is at John Huntsman's headquarters. Candy Crowley, as you know, is at Romney headquarters. Candy, let me go back to you for a moment. Is it going to be a big crowd over there? You got a big room, a little room? Set the scene for us.
Well, let me see if I can sort of step out of the way and try to give you an idea of how small this room is. There is, in fact, I don't know, David, if you can do it, the podium was right behind me, and there are going to be more people to the side and behind Mitt Romney than in front of him. It's one of these smaller rooms I've seen for what clearly is expected to be a victory celebration. It was even smaller than Des Moines, and we thought the Des Moines room couldn't get smaller, by the way. They are here. They've got their confetti cannons. They clearly expect to win. And I will tell you that the picture will look great. And we all know that the message coming out of New Hampshire is for the rest of the country. It's for South Carolina. It's for Florida. So the picture will look great. But it is a very tight and small room, Wolf. And but it will nonetheless be a victory celebration.
Certainly will, assuming he wins, and we all assume that will be the case. Let's go to Jim Acosta right now. He's at John Huntsman's headquarters. They would love to come in second tonight. There's going to be a fight for second, we assume, between Huntsman and Ron Paul.
That's right, Wolf. It is New Hampshire or bust for John Huntsman. He has bet big on this state. One indication of that, they actually moved their national campaign headquarters to this room where I'm standing right now in Manchester. I'm joined now by campaign spokesman Jake Suski. And Jake, you were telling me just a few moments ago that this nerve center, which is sort of like the little engine that could, it's picked up in activity in the last couple of days.
Absolutely. Just a few days ago, we were at 7% in the polls. The governor did his 160th event in this state, and all of a sudden, after his strong performances in the debate, people are really responding. They're responding to his country first moment in the debate with Mitt Romney and his message about restoring trust and dealing with our economic deficit.
Okay, thanks very much, Jake. And earlier today, I had a chance to talk to John Huntsman, and I asked him about the expectations here. Wolf, he was very honest. He was very blunt. He said, if we don't do well here, make no mistake, things might change for his campaign, Wolf.
All right, we'll check back with you. Dana Bash is over at Ron Paul's headquarters right now. Dana, what's the scene like over there?
Well, the scene is we're in, Candy talked about it being a relatively small room for Mitt Romney. It's also very small here. This is where Ron Paul supporters are going to be coming relatively soon. They're going to be standing and they're going to be watching the stage. We talk about the fact that Ron Paul says that he has a consistent message. Well, guess what? This is also consistent. You remember I was on the stage last week. Same podium, same placard, same background, even the same balloons. And the idea is that he is hoping that he does better than what he did in Iowa. He did third in Iowa, was very good, but they're really hoping inside the Paul campaign that he gets a strong second, because what that means for Ron Paul is the ability to raise more money and to keep the campaign going for the long haul. This is not somebody who wants to give up by any means whatsoever. I'm hearing from inside the war room, which is really buzzing as well inside the Paul campaign, that they are feeling very good with the numbers that they are seeing, and they feel that their message is really playing here in terms of their libertarian sensibility that really plays well in this live free or die state. Before I go back to you, Wolf, I just want to give you a behind-the-scenes look for our viewers as well. This is, you saw back there what we always see, where the candidate on the stage, but this is what the candidate sees. This sea of cameras. This is the view that they get when they give their speech, whether it's a happy speech or whether it's a little bit of a disappointment. This is what they see. Pretty good a pretty good showing of cameras here, and this is pretty much I think what you would see at all of the candidates' headquarters across the state today.
I love it when you take us behind the scenes like that, Dana. Thanks very much. Let's bring in Dan Lothian right now. He's over at Chichester, New Hampshire. Dan, you're at a polling station. Walk us through what's going on, because I see they're already counting ballots.
There are, Wolf, and in fact, let's just spin around here if we can. This is the box where all the ballots were in right there. They just opened up that box a while ago. They set up these tables here with 12 volunteers. Now, there are a lot of small towns around the state of New Hampshire that have decided not to do the electronic way of counting. So instead, they bring in volunteers like you see here. They set up these tables, put a dozen volunteers, and the first thing that they're doing right now is that they're separating all of the different pieces of paper, and then they'll be counting the paper. They're not looking right now at the color or whose name is on there, who's on the ballot. Right now, they're just making sure that they have an accurate count of all the pieces of paper. Then they are separating them. They will be separating them, as you've seen of some of the workers here, volunteers, separating the pink ones and the blue ones, pink ones being Republicans, blue ones being Democrats. It is a long process that will take about an hour and a half at these tables right here, where they'll be tabulating all of the different ballots that they have here. First of all, they'll separate them by the Democrats and Republicans, and then they'll separate them by the candidates, the major candidates and then the minor candidates. And then out loud, we will be able to witness them giving the count. There are two people here, so you always have someone backing you up. It's a redundancy system here because they want to make sure that everything that they do is very accurate. And after they're done, they'll announce the number, take it downstairs, fill out the paperwork, and a police officer will take the ballots from here all the way to Concord. Wolf?
This transparency is great, and our viewers are going to get a chance to see what's going on. Dan, thanks very, very much. Vote results are, in fact, coming in, and you can see the latest numbers right at the bottom of your screen. Stand by for more live ballot cams as the votes are counted. We'll also check in with our own John King. He's over at the Magic Wall. He's tracking the votes county by county. Our coverage only just beginning.
CNN's coverage of the New Hampshire primary is brought to you by Cadillac, the new standard of the world, and by VoteForEnergy.org, a program of the American Petroleum Institute. Log on to learn more. Go to CNN.com/election for trending political stories and the latest news on the campaigns.
Direct injection. 265 foot-pounds of torque. All part of an engine built to effortlessly power through whatever challenge lies around the corner. No matter where that corner happens to be. The 308 horsepower Cadillac SRX, the most powerful standard engine in any luxury crossover. We don't just make luxury cars, we make Cadillacs.
I vote.
I vote.
I vote
for American jobs.
I vote.
I vote for more domestic energy.
Energy from all sources.
To get America working again.
I vote.
I vote.
I vote for energy security.
That will come from developing
our own energy resources.
Like oil and natural gas.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
I vote.
To re-energize America.
With American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
We shall never give in.
Her courage.
This government has failed.
Was undeniable.
Many men have underestimated me before.
Her methods.
Yes, the medicine is harsh.
Were controversial.
Sink it.
Critics across America are unanimous about the Iron Lady. The New York Times raves Meryl Streep is miraculous, and Time Magazine hails it the best performance of the year.
Gentlemen, shall we join the ladies?
The Iron Lady, rated PG-13, in theaters everywhere Friday.
If there was a pill to help protect your eye health as you age, would you take it?
Well, there is.
It's called Ocuvite, a vitamin totally dedicated to your eyes from the eye care experts at Bausch & Lomb.
As you age, eyes can lose vital nutrients. Ocuvite helps replenish key eye nutrients.
Ocuvite has a unique formula not found in your multivitamin to help protect your eye health.
Now that's a pill worth taking.
Ocuvite, help protect your eye health.
Most women may not be properly absorbing the calcium they take because they don't take it with food. Switch to Citracal Maximum Plus D. It's the only calcium supplement that can be taken with or without food. That's why my doctor recommends Citracal Maximum. It's all about absorption.
Lately, there's been a seismic shift in what passes for common sense.
Used to be, we socked money away and expected it to grow. Then the world changed, and the common sense of retirement planning became anything but common. Fortunately, TD Ameritrade's investment consultants can help you build a plan that fits your life. Take control by opening a new account or rolling over an old 401k today, and we'll throw in up to $600. How's that for common sense?
It's only about 44 minutes until the top of the hour. That's when all the polls close in the state of New Hampshire. We'll begin to potentially make some projections. We'll see what's going on at the top of the hour. I want to go to Shannon Travis. He's in Manchester watching what's going on at a polling station. Are they reading results already, Shannon?
That's exactly what they're doing, Wolf. Diane Beaton, she's the ward moderator for Ward 1 here in Manchester, and she is reading the unofficial tabulated results from the vote count here. We've gotten just so far that about just over 2,900 votes were cast. That's less than the 5,800 registered voters in this ward. And right now she's reading how many votes each of the candidates got. Let's take a moment and listen in to what she's saying.
Stuart J. Greenleaf, 1. Christopher Hill, 0. John Huntsman, 403. Gary Johnson, 4. Fred Carver, 3. Jeff Lawman, 1. Benjamin Lynn, 0. Andy Martin, 0.
So Wolf, so far we've only heard one major candidate so far. Ron Paul, 341. Rick Perry, 10.
Joe Robinson, 1. Buddy Romer, 10.
A few moments ago, we heard that John Huntsman got 927 for Mitt Romney.
2. Rick Santorum, 162.
162 for Rick Santorum.
On the Republican side.
And we heard a moment ago, 403 for John Huntsman. I'm going to check with my producer here and just make sure that these numbers are completely accurate. Here, again, Mitt Romney, 927 from what, again, these are unofficial, tabulated just from what the machine read on the ballots. Mitt Romney, 927, Ron Paul, 341. Rick Santorum, 162. John Huntsman, 403. Rick Perry, only 10 votes cast here for Rick Perry in this ward. Michelle Bachmann, 4. Even Herman Cain got at least 1 vote cast for him here. So we'll continue to monitor the situation here. These are very raw. They still have to go through write-in ballots. They have to look at ballots that maybe the oval wasn't completely filled in or if there was damage or what have you. So these numbers will definitely change and fluctuate. However, this is significant because these are the very first election returns coming in from this ward. Wolf.
And you said how many people are voted in that ward? Because if Mitt Romney got almost 1,000, that sounds probably like at least 40 or 50%. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I have here 2,904 ballots cast here in this ward.
So
and
maybe
there are
it's
about
less.
5,800 registered voters here. So yeah. 764 for Democrats, 2140 for Republicans, and 92 write-ins. So they still have to go through those write-ins. So these numbers will change. But 927 for Mitt Romney. That's a significant amount, definitely, Wolf.
Yeah, and it looks like John Huntsman came in second, Ron Paul third, at least according to the numbers we heard. So what happens now? What do they do with all those ballots?
There's a lot of work still to be done. They have to count actually all of those ballots, hand count those, as well as, of course, the write-ins, as well as, of course, other ballots that might have damages or discrepancies or what have you. But from there is where it really turns interesting, where you'll see something that you'll only see on CNN. We're going to follow the ballots from that point, from the point that they're all coalesced and put together, as they make their way down to their holding place. We're going to travel along in a car behind the car that's carrying the ballots off to City Hall, and we have a really interesting and exclusive shot of where those ballots are deposited. I'll just tell you right now, Wolf, that our viewers won't want to miss it. That's coming up. All
right, the polls are closed in Manchester in the polling station where you are, but Soledad O'Brien is in Nashua. Soledad, the polls are still open there. They're not going to close until the top of the hour, right?
Absolutely right. We got about 40 minutes left until the polls close here. We're at the Amherst Street Elementary School in the gym, which is where Ward 3 in Nashua, New Hampshire votes. And what happens is people come in here and they do, as they always do, they come and register, and you can see alphabetically. You can register here. If you're not a registered voter, then you have to go check in over there. And they told me they have about 100 people, Wolf, who have signed up because they were not registered voters. Maybe they've moved, maybe they're new to the community. Once you get registered here, you get a ballot. This is the Republican ballot. This is a mock-up of it. But there are 30 people on this ballot, and what they do is they send you over to one of these little booths, which is closed by a curtain. Go inside there for about 30 seconds and pick one. You pick one candidate who you're supporting, and then you head over to that little black machine there that almost looks like a photocopier machine size. You're going to feed your ballot into the tabulator, is what it's called, and that will electronically calculate who your vote is for. And as you just heard a few moments ago, same thing happens. They calculate over the next 40 minutes all of those ballots. They box them up as they go along, and then eventually they will take all of those numbers. They'll print out the final slip. They'll add in, of course, the absentee ballots as well, and any of the ballots that had any kind of damages. And then they'll give us a figure, a number, and they'll be able to tell us who has won this election for the Ward 3 and who's 2, 3, and 4 in the race. They're going to expect that to happen probably just a few minutes after 8 o'clock. By 8:05, 8:10, they expect to post those results right here in the elementary school. Wolf?
Soledad, we'll check back with you in Nashua. Thanks very much. Anderson, so the first votes apparently already have been counted. We heard some of the results. Those are unofficial. They still have to be made official, but we're getting the results slowly but surely.
Slowly.
We'll find out what's going on.
Yep, voting underway. Mitt Romney has been the front runner, obviously, in New Hampshire since day one, but it has been a volatile fight to be his main challenger. Let's take a look right now at the polling trends over the past 6 months. Romney took the lead, stayed there. Everyone else was way behind until Newt Gingrich surged and came closer to Romney than anyone else. Now, Paul, Huntsman, Gingrich, and Santorum are all jockeying for basically for runner-up position. Our panel is here, all political contributors, CNN contributors, Eric Erickson, editor-in-chief of RedState.com, Dana Lash, a Tea Party activist, James Carville, Democratic strategist, Roland Martin, CNN contributor. What are you guys expecting tonight?
I'm expecting Mitt Romney to win. I just want to see what the margin of victory is. Is he over or under 40%? Does he get where John McCain got in 2008, or does he get close to where he got? And what does John Huntsman do? Does he come in second place ahead of Ron Paul, or is he in third? The polls showed some big momentum in John Huntsman's way towards the end.
For you, 40% for Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I would like to see if he can surpass John McCain, who's at 37.7, get into the 40% range, then it's going to be very hard for anyone to make any sort of case that people still aren't sold on.
Newt Gingrich earlier tonight talking to John King was trying to say 50%. Is what he, trying to raise expectations.
I'm curious to see what the intensity is like tonight, just like with in Iowa. In Iowa, the voter intensity was pretty similar to what it was in 2008, which doesn't bode very well for Republicans. That should be a giant red flag. And if the same is in with New Hampshire, and if this continues to be a trend, we're going to have the exact same election scenario as in 2008. And if Mitt Romney's the nominee, I know Eric and I were discussing, doesn't quite have lengthy coattails. So what does that mean for House and Senate as well? A lot of stuff to be seen in these numbers.
It is a small state, 300,000 people.
Yeah, it is, and I've had some experience there, and you can get around, and you know, it's a classic thing when they ask if he's going to vote for someone. Some guy said, "Well, I hadn't met him yet," and you know they like to sort of politics up close. Just one little tidbit: when we watch these people accumulating votes and everything, just people should really come to appreciate how many people in this country work an election, and how hard they work, and just how genuine they are. One of my favorite moments on television was after Iowa, when I came to Mabel and Ethel, those two remarkable women were. And it's just people like that all over this country, and it's just a good thing to remember.
Yeah, they really are the unsung heroes of these elections. They don't get the credit.
Yeah, give them a little credit.
I think the biggest thing for me is what will the speeches be like after the results are in? That's going to be an indication of what next week is going to really look and feel like. If Newt Gingrich comes out like Chucky from the horror film, if he continues that whole deal, if Santorum tries to pivot back to a hard social conservative message, and then if Rick Perry has any kind of clue of what to do next week, that's going to be the real key, what the speeches will be after the results tonight.
Yeah, we're already getting early exit poll results coming in. We're going to get the initial read on the issues making a difference tonight. We'll be right back.
Of all of the Earth's vast resources, none is more valuable or powerful than the human mind. At Qatar Foundation, we're giving some of the world's most innovative thinkers the opportunity to push boundaries, write new rules, and explore big ideas that can move us all towards a brighter future. Through education, science and research, and community development, we're dedicated to our mission of helping the people of the world to unlock their potential.
I'm away on a movie shoot, and it hasn't been going exactly as planned.
Cut! Cut!
I thought we'd be on location for 3 days. It's been 3 weeks, so I had to pick up some more things. Good thing I've got the City Simplicity card. I don't get hit with a fee if I'm late with a payment, which is good, because on this job,
No! Bigger!
I may not be home for a while.
The new City Simplicity card. No late fees, no penalty rate, no worries.
If you're running for this job, you talk to Piers. Next stop, South Carolina. Wait till you see the Piers Morgan interview with Newt Gingrich. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern.
Sorry, Mrs. Jones, your loan has been denied. Do you know what's on your credit report? Do you know what affects your credit score? Back on Track Credit Repair cares about your credit. Back on Track offers solutions. We help with your credit problems, improve your credit scores, negotiate terms with your creditors, eliminate your stress. We've helped thousands of families in northern Michigan. Back on Track Credit Repair, locally owned with offices in Traverse City and Cadillac. Call 231-846-2345. Restoring your credit for a brighter tomorrow.
Now get a $350 airfare credit, plus save up to 65%. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS. Certain restrictions apply.
The Southern Republican Presidential Debate, CNN, January 19, 8 p.m. Eastern.
It's only about 32 minutes before all the polls close.